All right, so formatting options with Google Docs and Gmail and those pesky images that don't stay where you want them to stay, and it's gotten better, much better. So if you're not familiar with some basic image and text formatting in Google Docs, I'll take care of you super quick. If you're like, I was promised a hack and how my emails should look as lovely as they're supposed to. Sometimes you click send and then you look at that send email and it's like, that is not what it looked like on my end. We can fix that. So there will be a hack. If you're looking at, well, just basic Google Docs and an image, your three little points to remember are your right click on your PC, which is either your two finger on your Mac or your control click. So find your image, control click, right click, whatever you want to call it. On the right, there's option image, and then there's the text wrap option. I'll show you right here with some cute little copy bars. Let's see this, I'll get rid of that guy. So I'm editing, I click, I'm gonna control click on my Mac, go to image options down here. And now I get three of these options over here. Play with these depending on what you want it to do. Some of our formatting issues, like I said, have been fixed quite a bit over the years in Google Docs. A couple of these will give you some options about you want the text on both sides. You can play with the margin. And for the most part, this is probably all you're going to need. If you've been looking at like, well, I've been trying to create this journalism unit or whatever for my kids, it might look something like this. So that's my Daily Express, very high brow piece of periodical right there. So how did I create something like this? It doesn't look good now because it's void of content, but this mimics the layout of a periodical, and it's in a Google Doc. So over on this guy, these are two different emails. So this was an email right here, and this was another email down here. When I sent this, it looked like this. On the back end, it stayed like this because I use a table. And anytime you shove anything inside of a table, it stays. That table is a tight sort of a perimeter. Nothing will break up that table. So there is no formatting issues as long as you can put your stuff where you want it to go in a table. So how do I get a table in there? It's your basic function at the top, insert table. And I'll do a little 2x2. And let's say I need this to have an image here. I'll shove an image there. I'll grab some of this. And then I have some text over here, different text down here, and maybe some smaller image business for whatever reason down here. Now I can play with this. I can make this larger. I can add another column. I can do all sorts of things and make it as weirdly detailed as this, where if I highlight this, you can see that's a row, column, column. So going back to what you need to know with the hack is insert table, which we just did. This second thing is called merge. So let's say I don't need this here and I want that to go somehow all the way across the bottom, or maybe I have some sort of larger paragraph or message or letter or however that works, right? Get rid of this image here. If I highlight both of these, I can right click again or control click and I go merge cells. Now that gives me a space to put paragraph or anything I need there. So I've turned this 2x2 column into a 2x1. This one, if I highlight it, you can see where the columns and rows are. This one started off as a 3 column by 2. So it was 3 columns, 2 rows. I merged these 2 cells here, and I merged these 2 cells over here. And then I was able just to highlight all of this, and I paste it into my email, and it stays just like that on the back end, right? And what's nice about this is it's a mix of obviously text and image, but I needed this to be a live link. So I needed rich text so people could open that one up, and it couldn't all just be an image, right? So how do I get my table to look like this? The other next step, if you will, is this table properties. So anywhere in my table, I can control click or right click and go to table properties. It's down here. I just make the table border white. That's the hack. Yeah? And it disappears. And now I have this sort of segmented, however that was for me, in terms of my columns and row and configuration. It stays like that in terms of my image goes here, my text goes there, etc., etc. It's easy. Now, this guy down here, I have a document. If you look at the bottom of this video, there's a link. It's called Formatting Gmail Message Template or something like that. The majority of devices, non-mobile devices, but computers, whatever, your Gmail, the images, everything that comes in that Gmail, it's 600 pixels of width. Because sometimes you've gotten a cool email, or you're going to send a cool email, and it might be frustrating or maybe defeat the purpose if somebody has to drag across because what you've done doesn't fit into their parameters, right? So if you keep a table which is no more than 600 pixels or 6.25 inches or something in centimeters, it'll always stay within the confines of whatever their width of their device and their screen, all that kind of stuff, right? It makes sense. That's over here, 600 pixels. And you can insert this. If you need to add a column, you can control click, insert row above. Now I got a 1x2, right? That sort of thing. Cool. One thing to think about with this is if you make a lovely bit of text in your Google Doc and your goal is to put that into Gmail, Gmail will still only read those, I think they're like 5 fonts, the same 5 fonts they've had for a decade. Google Docs has hundreds of fonts. So what you might want to think about with that is, for example, this right here. This is good to go. I like my silly font over here. There is no rich text. There's no hyperlink. So I can send this as is. If I copy this and paste it in the Gmail, that font will go to whatever my default font is, probably Arial or something, a Veranda maybe. But on my Mac, I'll show you what this is. I'm going to do my Command, Control, Shift 4, those 4 keys all at once. And if this is something you're not used to do, then you should probably be doing it. It's a screenshot that doesn't go to your desktop. It stays into your invisible clipboard, and you can just Command V on your Mac or wherever you need it to do. So I can do my Command, Control, Shift. I take a photo of this, paste that into my Gmail, and it will go exactly like that. It's all one big image. Now, if I need some combination of font here and image there, but a little bit needs to still be rich text. For example, here, let's see what this 3x3 is. You get the idea. I can combine photos of text with live text to maintain my links and those sorts of things. It's pretty easy. It's a lovely little trick. And it also really helps in terms of, like, I've been trying to do some journalism unit with my kids in grade 6 with Google Docs, and it's a living nightmare. Give them a template like this, or show them how to do it and give them some little bit of choice and agency with that. So any questions about formatting images with text in Google Docs, and eventually that probably ends up going into those lovely emails, just send me an email and we can talk about it. Thanks.